It's the same people who are now working behind the EU and the EC. It's these Habsburgs who, again, if you believe the hoopla, some of these lines have died out, then they pop up again. So, these meditation rooms are altars to this collectivism. One religion, one Führer, one media channel, one brain, one big collective, a mass that's now, under the one. They're always talking about the one world order. One, in the Disciples of Mysterium, I talk about the fallacy of oneness. You want to talk allness? Yeah, we can have a conversation. But oneness? I don't know. Can you point to that? Where is anything one? So it's another hypnotism. It's another talismanic words. Equality, oneness.
That's it. And this is where I've had a few disagreements with people as well, because I'm all for creating new communities. I'm all for collective teamwork. But what I'm not all about is sacrificing individual identities so people can fit in and get on and work together towards this fight back. I mean, it's all well and good saying, all of us need to network together and work together and fight back. But we are all massive, massive individuals, every single one of us. We will never agree on everything. So that's my issue with collectivism versus the individual and the ego.
Let's turn it around. Let's do a Columbo and turn it around. Instead of looking at a mass group of socialized, collectivized, herd-thinking, hypnotized masses trying to, shout down one tyranny when they're already standing on the foundations of a previous tyranny, why not we look at it philosophically and say, every man is everyone?
Yep.
If we go slowly and sneak forward, I can accept that each individual has within them the all. Not the one, not the globalist's talismanic one, not the one of religion, not the one of anything. But within a man, in the deepest part of his being, he's corded to nature. He's corded to the cosmos. He's corded to the universe. So it implies, obviously, that on an internal level, in an inward psychic level, yes, it is arguable that one man is all men. But what they have done is that they've twisted this around to make a non-man, right, the man who has been magnetized to the surface of himself, which is basically a malignant narcissist, a sensationally infatuated freak. Imagine that by bonding and hugging with all the other huggy bears out there, you're really going to affect change. Well, along comes Lao Tzu and says, tie two birds together, and though they got four wings, they cannot fly. It's already been refuted. It's already a no-no. Try it. It don't work. Well, what it does do is it makes Big Brother happy, because the very action of you trying to bond with other non-selves is the building is the digging out of the clay that builds the bricks that you hand to the Brzezinskis and the Otto von Habsburgs and go build our prison and build it high. That's exactly what you're doing. So, but the positive side of it though, the Zen flip side of it, right? Like the prince at the end of Dune doing his little flip and whap. Yeah, what's that? By knowing that it's inside you, you don't have to run around and bond with the Keystone Cops. You have all humanity within you. You now have the crosshairs on where the real tyranny is. Now you have found the underbelly. Now you bend your bow. You have now found the secret of unraveling the Gordian knot. It is within the self. Bibles, Qurans, and what's the other one? Torahs. You can dump them out the back in the garbage can, because the two wisest and holiest words that have ever been spoken since time began is just two words. Right? A celebrity in a hurry couldn't write his autograph faster than you could write down these two words, which are the holiest words in the human language. Right? Mel Gibson in a hurry couldn't write them down faster than these two words. Gnothi Suthon. Know thyself. And once a person understands the wisdom in those words, they don't need holy books. They don't need priests. They don't need paths. They don't need any of that palava, that mind control. Because the whole secret is there. And in those words, there's no mention of other people. That is a demand. All the basis of religion, all the basis of morality, and all the basis of spiritual and intellectual attainment are in those two words. Know thyself. There are no more sacred words. You can find those same words in the Bible, by the way. I'm not refuting the scriptures, because even in some of those scriptures, those words are also contained. Know thyself, the temple of the living God is within. What I can do, you can do also, and more. If thine eye be single, thy body will be full of light.
Yeah.
Right? Single, yeah, the single eye, the one who stands alone. But this was long before the Bible was written. It was already in the Nordic sagas. It was already in the Druidic tradition. It was already there in the Proto-Vedic systems, the Tantric systems. It's there in the shamanism. So what this does is it says, wake up from those scriptures which you're looking in and digging into and trying to look for the meaning of life in there. They can be used supplementally. They have interesting anecdotes for the history of man and for studying his road or his journey. But don't be looking into those things for any kind of answer to the state of decay that we're in today or the real meanings of life. No, you only need to look at two words that have always had the secret.
Prophetic words, yeah.
Dan Brown should have wrote about that one instead.
That's the secret of it all right there.
Yeah, it's like...
It doesn't mean that you cast off all of this other stuff, but what you do is it puts it into absolute perspective. They are about your collective role. They are one God, one heaven, one Jesus, one set of commandments for all people. That's what you call collectivism. You can't argue against it. Quran, my God, it should be obvious. Talmud, same. Torah, same. Everything the same. Sai Baba, the same. Every little guru, every little person, sit there and just watch me. Eckhart Tolle, the whole spiel. Just listen to the sound of my voice. I will hypnotize you all. Sit down and be at peace. What peace? The peace that you don't want to look at the dark side of life? That's not peace. That's editing, pal.
That's it. Yeah. It's time for people for individuals to create their own psychological sovereignty to sort of combat the psychic dictatorship or something.
Yeah.
One way of looking at it.
It's a fractal. And once you unravel your inner tyranny, well, wow. Now it's Bruce Lee with a ping pong ball. Now you got some power. Now you've got real immunity and real knighthood and real power. You don't need to be decorated by some rancid queen or pope, or organization or church or school. Like Charles Baudelaire, the great French poet, he said, if a man has got merit, what's the point of decorating him? Well, that's the point. People don't have merit, so they're running around, can't wait to have some ribbon slapped onto their forehead. I'm a great person, let me get onto some chat show or whatever, right?
Yeah, the modern victim.
Yeah, I can't wait to get my play. I want to serenade Prince Charles at his next birthday party. Yeah, great.
Just give him a knock. I'm sure he'll let you in.
Yeah. Cult of the celebrity.
Okay, guys. I know you're short on time, Michael, and you're very busy.
Go ahead. We can handle a few more.
All right, great. Let's.
Thank you.
The secret space program. Have you got any thoughts on that?
I like it. Is that the one that was talking about the moon landing and all of that?
I don't know. I mean, I've seen a lot about the secret space program, but you've got the Vatican that run the most of the important parts of the space program in secret.
Oh yeah, sure, absolutely. They have colossal power. But let's define that more. A lot of people even think that certain members of the Knights of Garter, Knights of Malta, answer to the Pope as we know him, like that creature over there. That's not true. That's a fallacy. The Pope is a very small potato. Yeah. He's just a figurehead. They come and they go. It's the grey Pope and it's the black Pope, and probably even somebody more even elusive. Yeah. Remember we said earlier about the fact that even these outer divisions of religion are completely spurious. Stop thinking when you hear about these Muslim extremists. You've got to start thinking Muslim Brotherhood, Frankists, Kabbalists, Zionists, not Islamic as known by the religion. You're going to get nowhere if you think in terms of religion. People should go to my forum and go onto the site, go onto the thread that's called Islam, and hopefully that point will be made. When you're thinking Zionism, for God's sake, stop thinking Judaism. Yes. And when you're thinking popery and all of it, stop thinking Catholicism. You've already blurred the field right there. You've already got a problem right there. These are secret societies operating behind smoke screens, behind incredible camouflage.
Of course. You mentioned, while we were talking about Jewish-related stuff, is it Yiddish or is it Hebrew that is actually descended from a symbolic language from Egyptian adepts?
Oh, that's will be both, but Hebrew, in the purest sense of the word Hebrew, which is actually a word that means Ireland, by the way, or at least the elders of the area. It has other meanings as well, like fire people and men of the river and all that stuff. But yeah, the Hebrew language is 22 letters. minus its vowels, that is absolutely, irrefutably connected to the pyramid. The expert on this is Tony Bushby, whose book Secret of the Bible has shown where those original shapes come from. And it's from light entering into a pyramidon, a crystalline pyramidon, that actually can be put on any pyramid, but the main one was the famous one at Giza. And the shapes that it cast. Remember, this is God. This is Amun-Ra of a morning, or during his ascent over the heavens, casting 22 shadows, these little serpent-like shadows, rays. And those were then eventually became the hieratic. Hieratic just means like hierophant, priestly. The priestly script that was written left or right or whatever it was. And then that became the script of the adepts, of the highest initiates of the solar churches of solar temples of Egypt. And it is from there that they then get transported, along with the Kabbalah and many other Egyptoid mystery school traditions from the Amonist schools, find their way into what is known as Jewish tradition, and that's by way of those Hyksos Israelites that Ellis and other people have exposed, and Sigmund Freud did. That's how it comes into Judaism. How did it get there? What's the connections between the Egyptians and the Hebrews? Well, that's all been exposed. And when you know the real secrets of that, then you understand why a lot of these motifs did pass over. And then eventually they end up in the Bible, because the Old Testament is Judaic, and my goodness, most of the New Testament is as well, by the way. Now, St. Paul and Marcion were the two guys who tried to sanitize it, but in doing so, they went back to an earlier form of paganism that Jews won't accept. Because when Jews were aware of what Paul was doing and this new Christianity, they spotted it right away. It's just, oh my God, this is old Dionysus, Adonis, Tammuz, paganism. We're not into that, right? So that should have blown the whistle right away.
Absolutely. I've got an inlay from the book that we could maybe get into in future. It's a book that I've recommended on the radio a few times, and it's called The Zelator, and A Modern Initiate Explores the Ancient Mysteries by Mark Hetzel, with an introduction from David Overson. And I'm just going to read a short section of the inlay and see what your thoughts are on this. Many of the influential figures in the history of Western civilization have been initiated. This is to say, they have been led through secret spiritual techniques into a vision of the spiritual world which lies behind the familiar material world. In the West, the most important of these initiate streams, sometimes called secret schools, may be traced back to the Hermetic law of ancient Egypt. Among the followers of this ancient Hermetic path, who have helped guide humanity along the course of evolution, are Pythagoras, Plato, St. Augustine, Dante, Da Vinci, Goethe, George Washington, Dostoevsky. In modern times, the influence of Hermetic thought may be found in writers as diverse as T.S. Eliot and J.D. Salinger. Many secret societies have Hermetic origins. Among these were the Gnostics, alchemists, Knights Templar, Rosicrucians, and Masons. Modern researchers have attempted to penetrate the veils of secrecy which protect the Hermetic teachings upon which such groups flourished. Now, the question I've got is in relation to the way of the fool, the ego, and suffering. And I'm just looking for your thoughts on it generally. Now, what it says here about the way of the fool, and I know you can probably speak about how this relates to the tarot card of the fool, the jester.
Wow. I got so distracted just listening to your accent. That's so fucking fantastic. It's brilliant. Should have you read the whole thing again.
That's what all the girls say.
Priceless. Well read. Say Dante again.
Dante.
Yeah, priceless. That's that northern accent. Right, now there was a question. Oh yeah. Well, about the fool. Yeah. Well, see, the fool is many things. First of all, in the tarot card, it was a mistranslation of the word sun. The long F was mistaken for, or the long S was mistaken for an F. So it actually wasn't fool, it was Sul or Soleil, the sun.
Yeah.
Of course, this makes sense because if you look at the damn card, it's got the sun right on it. So the solar child there, and the eagle on the bag, also represents Ahom, the first letter of the Egyptian alphabet, which is again a beginning, Alpha, the fool. And then in some other traditions it's called Lamato, the mad one. And that's what brings this out, because the fool then is the initiate, the beginner. He's the young, newborn son of spring who has no learning. But he does have this priceless, intuitive, spontaneous understanding